Hello and welcome everyone to the first official Cons of Tarkir Fate Reforged 8-4. This is Jarred Juett filming for the wonderful guys at Brainstorm Brewery. I'm also a part of Team BetterMagic. You can find our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/BetterMagic, all one word. And if you have yet to listen to this week's Brainstorm Brewery or are not subscribed to the RSS feed, I would highly suggest you do that as soon as possible to get all of the most relevant and up-to-date financial information for the game of Magic the Gathering. The guys were kind enough to allow me to make a couple of these videos for you guys. This will probably be the last Cons of Tarkir Fate Reforged draft that I do. Because Dragons of Tarkir is out, and I'll be drafting that on Moto very heavily because I played the set a few times and I think it's fantastic. But just for old time's sake, we're going to film this for you guys and hopefully do okay. So in this pack, we're looking at, hopefully that's big enough for you guys, hopefully, there we go. Yeah, so we're going to take this supplant form. The card is very good. Blue is very deep in this format. It's a very bomb-heavy format. You can just steal their bomb, block their best card, their best creature, and get their best creature. Card is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to take it here. And again, I'm happy being in blue in this format. And this is one of the best tricks around. So in this pack, we're looking at good removal in Douse and Gloom. Gurmag Angler is a perennial favorite, but isn't something I'd like to second pick. If we want to stick to blue, which I think is absolutely an okay thing, we could take this Lotus Path Djinn. This guy's very, very, very solid. Just a 2/3 flyer for 4, which you would already usually play. And he also has prowess, so as you're casting spells like Supplant Form, he just gets bigger and bigger and is very much an evasive threat. So this is probably what we're going to take here. Other cards of note, decent removal in Hunt the Weak. I'm not a big fan of green in this format, but this is pretty much the best around as far as green goes. Sandstep Outcast is a fantastic, just built-in 2-for-1 in white, and I like blue-white a lot. But if we don't have to veer into a second color in our second pick, then we're not going to. So I'm going to take the Lotus Path Djinn here. Okay, so as far as other good blue spells in this pack, we're sticking with this theme. Whisk Away is very powerful. It's a good way, again, just to get rid of their best threat as long as it doesn't have hexproof or something, and there's only like 2 or 3 creatures that matter. So I like Whisk Away quite a lot. Right into Being is pretty good too. You get card selection and you just get a dude. Sometimes you can just, you get to manifest one of your best creatures, or if you want to be tricky, you get to manifest, let's say, a land that you don't need and put another spell that you do need on the top of your library, or if you just hate the cards that you've been given, if you get 2 lands, you can tuck one under the bottom of your deck and just get a 2/2. And for 3 mana, that level of selection, leaving behind a body, is actually quite good. But I'm going to take the Whisk Away here. I think it's actually very powerful. The other good cards, again, another Douse and Gloom going by. Arc Bond can get super tricky. It can be it can wrath the entire board if you're good enough with it, and I sometimes take it if blue-red becomes a thing and this comes back around. I wouldn't mind having it. Okay, wow, some decent stuff left in this pack. So the problem with Fate Reforged right off the bat, as far as the removal goes, is some of it is actually quite good, but it's in 2 colors. So we're looking at Harsh Sustenance and Grim Contest here, and both of these cards. I think LSV has famously said they have a first pick ability with a last pick mana cost. Harsh Sustenance just kills a dude or domes them equal to the number of creatures that are on your side of the battlefield, and you gain that much life. Card's insane. In Grim Contest, aka Butt Fight, just makes creatures fight each other based on their toughness, which is super cute too. But outside of that, there's not that much great stuff in this pack other than this amazing Lotus Path Djinn that we are now going to have 2 of. So this is a very easy pick for us. Again, if the blue-red thing is a thing that's happening, Gorsewine isn't terrible. But I'm going to take a Lotus Path Djinn here. Okay, so this is a super interesting pick. So we can take... I don't really want to take a Mind Scour Dragon. It's pretty much the worst of the 6-mana 4/4 flying dragons in Fate Reforged. That being said, it is just a dragon. The other good cards here are, for us, luckily there's trash in all other colors, and for some reason there's still good blue cards coming around. I really do like Whiskaway. It makes our Lotus Path gens quite a bit better. And Ride into Being is really good too, but I think we're going to be able to get more good blue creatures, and Whiskaway is kind of pseudo removal, kind of tempo-y, and works very well with our prowess guys, which makes me favor it a little bit over this Ride into Being. So I'm going to take it here. We'll see where that gets us. Okay, so we have a pretty easy choice in this Jeskai Sage. He's just a true 2-drop. Unfortunately, he just looks like a 1-1 on the surface, but most of the time he's a 2-2 because you're doing other things like Whisking Away. You're able to trade, and when you trade this guy away, it's actually a trade in your favor because when he dies, you get to draw a card. So he not only replaces himself, but usually trades up favorably. So I'm going to take this guy here. The other picks for consideration are like a Huge Stone Retainers, which is okay. If you have a deck with a lot of cheap creatures, you can actually get this guy out as a 4/4 for 3 relatively easily. I don't think our deck is ready for that, though. The other things to consider, maybe a Swiftwater Cliffs if some of those decent red cards come back around, but it's a very easy Jeskai Sage for us here. Fascination, huh? That is fascinating, for lack of a better word. This card really just isn't good for us. I don't think it's good in general, ever. Unfortunately, it's the only blue card in this pack, but we're not going to take it. I don't want my opponent to draw cards. Like I said, if we think this blue-red thing is a thing, I'm probably taking Goreswine here. I don't like the blue-green deck very much at all. Frontier Rasson is cool. He's totally serviceable as a 3/2 for 3 and sometimes a 4/3 for 3, which is quite good. But without being able to really trigger this in our deck, it just does not make the green-blue thing as good as just taking a Goreswine here and trying to make this work. Okay, so we have some interesting choices here, I guess, between Refocus, which untaps a target creature, so it can be a combat trick, and it's a cantrip, so you do draw a spell, right? So you like untap one of your best blockers, and then these guys trigger prowess. Like, it's okay. Smoldering Efreet, if we think the red thing is a possibility, is not the best 2-drop in the world, but it is serviceable. It's as close as you're going to get to a decent Baron red ever. I'm going to go a little outside my comfort zone here and only have 4 creatures so far and take the Refocus. Because it's very hard for me to bring myself to play a Smoldering Efreet unless I'm in like the little dude red deck, and pumping them up with maybe like some War Flares or Trumpet Blast or something like that, and that is not what this deck is at this point. Wow, we could have another Whiskaway? Another Whiskaway is actually fine. Like, what else am I going to take? So I could take like a War Flare and hedge on some sort of Jeskai thing and really kind of make our mana weird in this format where I really would prefer just to have a 2-color deck. So yeah, I'll take a third Whiskaway and see where it gets us. Okay. Luckily for us, a Fierce Invocation really isn't that bad in this deck. We want a 4/4 because we want to do as many. Unfortunately, that one Timber Battle Rage we saw did not pop up, but having this lets us have some Ferocious Red stuff going on in the Khans of Tarkir pack. So I'm going to take the Fierce Invocation. It's also just a spell and not a creature that makes a creature and then pumps these guys up. So it's pretty cute. It's one of these weird things in Fate Reforged, and I've noticed in Dragons of Tarkir actually, where I'm going to take this 4 Flare for good measure, where there is a lot of kind of incentive to play spells on your first main phase because they either trigger Ferocious in Khans of Tarkir or Formidable in Dragons of Tarkir, and which is kind of against the grain. That's usually not ever a thing you want to do, but all the green-red stuff, yeah, none of these picks matter. I'll play an Ambush Crotic if it comes to it. I will definitely play a Pressure Point if Jeskai is a thing. But as I was saying, those these formats in a strange way, like in the red and green color combinations, want you to play spells in your first main phase, which is pretty weird. Okay, so this is where we have some decisions to make. So if we want to stay just a 2-color deck, like red-blue in particular, then the land doesn't matter as much. If we want to go into something like Jeskai, we're looking for white cards that push us just way over the top, which looks to not be the case here. The other thing is we could also just play Timur. Again, we saw some decent green stuff going on. The only problem with that is you really need the fixing to make it happen. And if you don't get the fixing to make it happen, then life gets pretty rough for you. You don't get to cast your spells as often as you would like. So I could be ballsy here and take a Bear's Companion or an Avalanche Tusker. Neither of which, actually, I think Bear's Companion is very good. I don't think Avalanche Tusker is that good at all. Bear's Companion is almost worth just trying a splash. Heir of the Wilds is also absolutely fantastic. But here, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to take the Jeskai Wind Scout. If things like this start wheeling around, then we know what's going on. And if they don't, then we're happy that we kept to a two-color deck. So unfortunately here, we've run into the situation of no good blue cards, really, and the only red card being Canyon Lurkers, which is not bad, but we don't have anything like a Timur Battle Rage to really take advantage of this being a 5/2. So the other cards we could take here, then, like if we were hedging on some sort of a Jeskai thing, we could take a Watcher of the Roost. We could also take a Windscarred Crag, because we will need the fixing to make that an effective thing. We could also take the Alpine Grizzly if we really want to be out on a limb, and hope that the Timur thing just starts wheeling around after these picks, which I don't foresee being the case. We already have a Pressure Point and a War Flare. In the sideboard, we have absolute trash, so that doesn't matter. So I'm actually going to take the Watcher of the Roost here because it's just solid. And if we go into Jeskai, this is going to be the kind of card we want to play. Windscarred Crag is now something we're looking to absolutely take. So let us not forget. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. So here's another Heir of the Wilds. There was a rare and an uncommon taken out of this pack. And a Swiftwater Cliffs, if that ends up being the kind of thing that we want to do. Is actually a decent pick here, because for us, taking Jeskai Student is not that powerful because it's our third color splash, and that's not necessarily where we want to be. Taking an Heir of the Wilds, again, pushes us closer to that Timur thing that's going on, but we don't even know if that's something that's going to happen. So we're playing it absolutely as safe as possible and staying as open as possible. We're going to take this Swiftwater Cliffs and make sure that we can play all of our spells. So that is happening for sure. Okay, so this is super interesting. So there's a lot of Jeskai stuff coming around. Timur's still fine. Like, choosing blue and red was obviously correct. Like, that's a no-brainer. The question is, do you play, like, how safe do you play it and take like a Force Away here, right? Versus something like a Warden of the Eye. In fact, I think the Warden of the Eye is actually the right choice, because we can get back War Flare, we can get back any of these Whiskways, we can get back a Plant Form of Fierce Invocation, and life is good. Jeskai Charm's also fine. It's probably just not as good as having a guy that recurs your spells. Bloodfire Expert, in this case, would also be fine too, because we only have 6 creatures, and I'd like to get quite a few more. And we have another 9 picks to do so, as far as filling up our deck. So I'm going to take the Warden here. Sweet, we got a Force Away anyways, so that's totally fine. The rest of these cards don't matter that much. Barrage of Boulders is something that our deck can actually do. Ish. It's not as good as it is in like the Timur deck, but it's decent in our deck. So if this is like the last card that comes around, I wouldn't be mad. Again, a Jeskai Student is not something I'm looking to take if I don't have to, just because this is our third color splash. We don't even have the mana for it yet, so I'm gonna take a Force Away here. Okay, this is a very easy Mystica Hidden Way. We wanted creatures. We definitely want creatures that have like the truest form of evasion. The rest of the stuff here doesn't matter. If we were looking for the Timur thing, I would take the Record Highlands, no question. The only other decent card here is a Mardu Warshrieker. And I always pity people who have to play Ride of the Serpent unless their deck really is just super... has a ton of high casting cards. Then you play one, and it's decent. I'm going to take a Mystica Hidden Way here. No question. This is an interesting pick. So we can take a Smite the Monstrous in our third color. Or take this the loneliest Valley Dasher in the world and have him just try and do things, I guess, and we just hold down the board with other spell with like whiskaways, I guess. Ugh. That seems not great. It is a 2-drop. That's why the monstrous is in our 3rd color. You know what? I hate playing Valley Dasher. I really do, actually. I don't think this card's very good at all, except in just like the mono red deck. But I'm gonna try it here. Ooh. Okay, so we have 18 actual cards, 9 creatures, a Crippling Chill is on the board, and a Leaping Master is on the board. A Trumpet Blast is interesting, but it is not what we're doing with this deck. Crippling Chill would actually be our only card draw, and I think I can get more Leaping Masters. There's Leaping Masters. If I can get more of them, they replace like Pressure Points and the Valley Dasher. I'm gonna take the Crippling Chill for now. Sweet. I'll for sure take this Aerostorm. Just kill someone. This Aerostorm is a great way to finish off people in this kind of pseudo Jeskai deck. I actually like it quite a lot. Blinding Sprays I like more than most people do. I think you can even wrath people with this sometimes because so many people don't play this card that no one ever sees it coming. And so for that reason I like it a lot. But Aerostorm is clearly the pick there. Weave Fate probably not going to play, but it's something to consider. Yay, Leaping Master! That's exactly what we wanted. Our deck is coming together. We could take a Bloodfire Mentor here. I never play this card. I've probably played it out of like the 100 drafts I've done. I've maybe played it twice. I'll take a Rush Battle here just in case. I don't want to get blown out by Field Clan. This is a fun deck. We're not going to play that Rush Battle. This Warflare is probably sticking around, though. I think. Oh, we have 23 cards already. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of this Pressure Point for sure. Let's get rid of as much of the white that we don't need as possible. In fact, we're at a place where we don't even need that. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of the Weave Fate because we don't really need it. So if we don't play the white, we have 17 cards with 8 creatures. Okay. I'm not sad about that. 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Okay, so this is an interesting pack. Unfortunately, there's no real creatures for us here. There's like, if we want to stick with just the red-blue thing, we could take an Anok Tracker, but he pales in comparison to Mardu Horde Chief, a Jeskai student, even. Timely Horde Mate's okay. It's not actually good in our deck. I mean, I guess you get Jeskai Sage back and you just keep drawing cards. It's not that good. Mardu Horde Chief is absolutely fantastic here. A Singing Bell Strike is fantastic here. None of these cards at all impact our deck, though. It kind of sucks to just have a dead pack like this. Unfortunately, I'm trying to steer away from the Jeskai thing as much as possible because we don't have the fixing yet, and there's no guarantee we're going to have the fixing in this pack. And in that case, just trying to force a Jeskai thing is actually quite bad for us. So I'm going to take this Utter End here and not get blown out by it, simply because these 2 blue spells are not worth playing in my opinion, and neither are these 2 red spells. So I'll take the best card in the pack. Okay, I'm happy with another Mystic of the Hidden Way. Again, if we were trying to force the Jeskai thing, Watch of the Roost, again, is fine. Everything else here is actually quite bad, except for a Kintry Invocation for the person who can play that. Shambling Attunements is okay for the person who can play that, but that person happens to not be us. Ooh. And then this pack happens. Okay, so the thing is, a Flying Crane Technique is actually just playable, like is actually just splashable, so I'm probably going to take it here. I don't think there's anyone playing Jeskai, though. That's the thing. So, Master Loy is also a great removal spell, and something we can definitely play. A Misfire Weaver here actually might be what we want, just so we have more creatures and we hope the Flying Crane Technique wheels. It probably won't, but I highly doubt there's another Jeskai player at the table the way these packs have been going down. So taking the flying crane technique is just kind of the fun play, and we don't even have enough creatures to make it that fantastic yet. So taking it here is actually a waste of a pick over just this evasive flyer. So that is the reason I am not taking it. Okay, sweet. I'll take a Monastery Flock. I've been waiting for you. Again, another Mardu Tor Chief here. The card is quite good. And then 2 really good Mardu cards. There's still 3 uncommons in this pack, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the 3 people before us are not playing Mardu, so that's fascinating. Interesting. And Bitter Revelation's fine card draw. So yeah, just no one's in Mardu. I don't think that means we could have been from what I've seen, but just something to keep in mind. I'm going to take the Monastery Flock here, though, no question. Okay, so if I take a Tranquil Cove, oh my goodness. There's like a lot of people in Sultai, I guess, is what's happening. And one person who took all of that Timur stuff too, because we didn't see either the Avalanche Tusker or the Bear's Companion Wheel. So 2 people before us took those in the last pack. So if I take, like, the safest pick here is just a Wetland Sandbar, but that's not super interesting. A Bring Low is absolutely fine removal. And Tranquil Cove lets us play Flying Crane Technique. I'm gonna take. Do we need creatures? I'm gonna take the. Nope, I actually need the Wetland Sandbar now that I do the math. Okay. Which is not exciting, but there's a very easy Monastery Flock for us. Cool. Okay, I'll take a Warname Aspirant, I guess. Taking a Whirlwind Adept is so much better in the deck with Timur Battle Rage, and we do not have a Timur Battle Rage, which is very unfortunate, but that is kind of how the dice were rolled. There we had a chance to get one, but we were still in blue and playing it safe, and I think that actually paid out for us, but do I just need a 4-2? Because we already have 1. That's the question. Is it better than more random 2-drops? The thing is, I can take this Warname Aspirant and get rid of Valley Dasher, and I'm incredibly happy about that. We'll take this Rotting Mastodon that just beats us. Yup. Do we care about any of these cards? How many creatures do we have? 13 and 22 cards. So if we took this, we'd have 14 creatures, but he's not that exciting. Pony Bat Brigade is not something we're going to play. Jeskai Student is not something we're going to play. Could just take the Pony Bat Brigade and just not even care, because this card's so terrible. Like, I'd rather almost just play another Valley Dasher. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Ooh. Don't want another Valley Dasher. I'll take a Set Adrift just in case. Oh, sweet. Okay. Somehow that got to us. This card's fantastic. Now we have an actual deck. Okay. Do we care about any of these? No. Someone took the Flying Crane Technique, though. So, keep your eyes peeled for that one. We have 23. We have a deck now. So our deck is just straight up blue-red, tempo, kill them with flyers, get rid of their best thing. And then you get it, actually. You get their best thing, and you get rid of it for a turn. This card's super good. Okay, this is going to be a super fun deck to play. We even have one piece of fixing. Look at that. So I think I made the right choice in not choosing all the Jeskai stuff. Although, to be fair, there were like 3 Tranquil Coves that showed up right at the end. But in those picks, we actually needed creatures anyways to get to a reasonable creature count. So I think, all in all, it worked out. Otherwise, we'd be scrambling for those picks, and we'd probably not have as many creatures as we needed. So I'm happy we didn't kind of bite the hook on that one. And I'm curious to see if it paid out for us. I'm also looking to see if there's anyone I know in this draft, but it looks like the answer to that is no. We don't have any fixing, which is unfortunate because I would like to maybe play this guy, but I just don't think it's even worth doing that. So I'm going to put these 2 Mystic of the Hidden Ways on 3. I'll keep a Mistfire Weaver on 4 for the heck of it. Okay, cool. This is a deck. Like, we just came out of drafting with a deck. So if I move this, we just have 23 cards, and we want to play 17 lands, and we will absolutely play 17 lands because we have a 2-color deck and not a 3-color deck. Otherwise, I would maybe 75% of the time play 18 lands. So let's see what Moto says. Actually, so for blue pips, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 blue. Oh, did I miss this one? 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Nope, 19 and 7. Oh my goodness gracious. Then we have 1 Swift Water Cliffs. Let's see what Moto says. It's going to be like 11 and 5. Yeah, that's what I thought. That seems correct, though, because we don't even have any. We have 1 double red in the form of Aerostorm, which 6 is still enough, regardless. It's just Aerostorm's the most awkward card in our deck to cast, but when we do cast it, we're probably killing them anyways. So I'll take it. I am absolutely fine with it. I think this deck is super fun. So our plan is play all these flyers, defend against their big things with Monastery Flocks, get them with evasive creatures. Like do some damage early, get them with evasive creatures in the late game, and supplant form to take out their best stuff, Aerostorm them to the face, etc., etc. And this Gorswine is so lonely because he doesn't have anybody pumping him up, and he's not pumping anybody else up. Oh well. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he just trades efficiently. Sometimes he's the best blocker in the world in this format. So we will submit our deck here, and we will see you in the first game.